Getting into photography can be a daunting task. You're gonna be asking questions like, which camera should I get, what lights will I need, and which lens do I buy? Today, I wanna try to answer that last question, specifically, which lens should you buy if you're getting into portrait photography? I was able to take these photos with this lens on my Sony a7 III. And the lens I'm talking about today is the Yongnuo 85mm f1.8. It comes in Sony E, Nikon Z, and Canon EOS R mounts. It ranks as DxOMark's sharpest lens at the time of this recording, and it comes in at a budget-friendly $350 to $400 depending on the mount you choose. Yeah, I can say I can comfortably recommend this lens to anybody for portrait photography. Starting off with the build quality of the lens, honestly, it's a budget feeling lens. It doesn't have the heft of a premium feeling lens, but as I always say, the trade-off is you end up with a more compact and lighter lens that makes portability much better, and for mounting on gimbals and rigs, easier. At a first glance, honestly, it's a nice looking lens. I think where most budget brands tend to shoot themselves in the foot is with their branding. Yongnuo, if you're listening, I would highly recommend choosing a logo that looks a little bit more serious. But all jokes aside, this lens does come with some nice features, including a focus mode switch, a custom function button, and a USB-C port for firmware updates. When it comes to optics, this lens features 9 glass elements, including a low dispersion element and nano coating to reduce ghosting and control flares. It has a 7-blade aperture, which contributes to some nice looking bokeh. The autofocus utilizes a digital stepping motor for quiet focusing, and if I'm gonna be honest, the autofocus accuracy was one of my favorite features of this lens. Lastly, the lens has a 58mm filter thread and a minimum focusing distance of 0.8 meters or 30.5 inches. More importantly, I want to talk to you guys about the image quality coming out of this lens. The reason why this lens piqued my interest was that it is currently ranked as the sharpest lens that DxOMark has tested. We're talking about beating lenses that are far above its price tag, so I had to buy the dang lens and find out for myself. When shooting wide open at f1.8, center sharpness is incredible and tack sharp. If you start looking into the corners, then yeah, you'll see the image start looking a little soft, but when it comes to portrait lenses, your subject is typically in the center of frame anyways. As you stop down to f2.8 and f4, the story goes as it always does. The lens gets even sharper through the whole frame, which again is incredibly sharp for a budget third-party lens coming in at half to a fifth of the cost of what it's competing against. One of the main things about this lens that is a definite negative is its vignetting. Wide open at f1.8, that's when it's the worst, and as you stop down to f2.8 or f4, it starts becoming more subtle, but it never fully goes away no matter how much you stop down. Of course, that is something you can fix in post, but it does add an extra step to your workflow. The bokeh quality is also pretty great. The subject separation you get at f1.8 is definitely as expected, and while the bokeh isn't as creamy as what my 85 1.4 G Master can produce, you're still getting circular bokeh in center frame with some cat eye bokeh as you veer off towards the edge of the frame, and on top of that, the bokeh balls are nice and smooth. They lack any onion rings. Sorry, I just realized how weird that last sentence sounded. I think photography terminology can get pretty wonky sometimes. But for autofocus, this is the part where I was most pleasantly surprised. For photos, my autofocus hit rate was really high. Some shots have ended up out of focus when I'm shooting a burst of like 10 plus shots at once, but overall, I haven't walked away from a shoot feeling like I've missed a shot because of the lens. For video, the autofocus can definitely track pretty smoothly, but you can tell that it's just not as fast at tracking as a native lens, and I wouldn't recommend it for tracking fast subjects. But otherwise though, compared to all of the third-party budget lenses I've tested over the years, this one has probably the best autofocus performance of them all. Since we're talking about being budget conscious today, and just like how you can get 99% of what you want and need from a lens at a fifth of the cost, you can also save money by switching your wireless plan to Mint Mobile, the partner of today's video. But I'm already using insert carrier name here. Oh, well, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for as low as $15 a month, and you don't even have to sacrifice any coverage, speed, or data. Wait, really? Yep. They're also built on the nation's largest 5G network, so why should you pay more than you have to access the same network? Okay, but like switching plans can be a pain. Actually, switching to Mint Mobile is super easy thanks to their digital eSIM cards. You can sign up and activate right on your phone, and it took me like less than 20 minutes. And you're telling me that all Mint Mobile plans include unlimited nationwide talk and text, plus lightning fast 5G and free mobile hotspot? Yeah, why does it feel like you're the one pitching it to me now? Well, that's because I was spending $85 a month for my old plan. Well, through January 15th, if you purchase a 3-month plan, you'll receive an additional 3 months free using my link, mintmobile.com/DavidZhao, or scan my QR code. Sounds like I should stop paying more than I need to on my wireless bill and start saving big with Mint Mobile. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's get to the pros and cons of this lens and why I think it's the best budget lens for portrait photography. On the side of pros, this is a compact and lightweight lens that's priced at $350 to $400. In the Sony world, my next recommendation would be the Sony 85mm f1.8, which comes in at $600. So right off the bat, that's already a better deal by $250. You're getting just as sharp, if not sharper results than the Sony 85 f1.8 and the 85 f1.4 G Master. It has smooth background blur with nice looking bokeh. It has great color rendition and sharpness rendition thanks to the optics in this lens. It's not only good for photos, but it's also great for video work as well. It's built well and it's packed with nice physical features, including the custom function button and firmware updates that are possible thanks to the USB-C port. The only cons that I can think of is that it produces some soft corners wide open, has some mild chromatic aberrations from time to time, the vignetting could be a deal breaker for some, and it shows some distortion, so you won't be getting extremely straight lines towards the edges of the frame. But my counter to all of the cons is that if you're getting this lens for portrait photography, then those drawbacks don't really matter, especially if you're trying to figure out which lens to start with. Yeah, you can address some of the concerns with higher price tag options, but are those concerns worth paying double, triple, or even 5 times the amount of this lens to address? If you can, then all power to you. You should go for the more expensive lenses that, have more bells and whistles. But all I can say is, I wish this lens was available when I started shooting portraits. At a price point of under $400, I can wholeheartedly and confidently recommend this lens to any of you if you're getting into portrait photography. And with that, thank you for watching. If you're a real one and you decided to bless me with that sweet, sweet watch time by watching all the way until the end, leave a comment saying you're welcome, and I'll select 3 random comments to send a free DZ water bottle. And if you enjoyed these videos, here are some other videos that the YouTube algorithm has decided that you would enjoy watching as well, so check those out. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.